we stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue? I think you need to stop sharing mine. Yeah? Okay. Hold on, hold on. Come this way.
So you are doing the hybrid teaching, right?
Yes, and that's a little bit complex. We can see you, Daisy, and we can see the screen as well.
Yeah, but I cannot see you. I think I cannot see the class now.
Okay. I'm on my way. Can you see me now? Waving?
No. I can only see Jerry now.
Well, he's always so handsome. Now you can see me, yeah? Waving.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Hey.
I'm happy now.
Okay, Daisy, take us through your material and the nice things that we're saying. Thank you.
Okay, good. So you can see my shared screen right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. That's very nice. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for Professor Buhalis inviting me to do this guest lecture. I'm very excited. Not only because I can see Dimitris again in live, I'm sure he's doing very well in Hong Kong, but it's also because I'm giving the guest lecture to you, all of you, since I graduated from exactly the same program, MSc program, 10 years ago. I graduated 2011 in MSc Hospitality and Tourism Management. So it's really bring me back to that time of the memory. So I feel very excited. Probably you can call me Cesar. I'm 10 years ahead of you. So very happy. I'm now currently teaching in Buhalis University in the UK. So my research area is about the tourist behavior, particularly in the tourist host social contact, and also the social sustainability in tourism. And we work closely with Dimitris. And that's maybe a little bit background of me. Yeah, I'm originally from mainland China. My hometown is Harbin. I came to Hong Kong at 2009. I stayed there for 8 years. After my graduate or PhD, I moved to Buhalis to start my academic job. Yeah, so that's probably all about me right now. So today, I would like to talk about the consumer behavior. But since we only have around half an hour, it's really impossible for us to go through all those relevant topics. So I have to select some of the parts I think which are very interesting and could keep you there at this very late night. So I think I choose those social contact and typology things regarding to this customer's behavior. Well, if we're thinking about those, consumer behavior or customer behavior or even tourism behavior, so what do you think could influence them? If you could give me some answers, so what do you think could influence tourism behavior or customer behavior in a hotel? So online, offline, I can see in the chat. Cultural background, exactly. That is a very important factors that could influence our guest, right? So what they like, what they don't like, their religions, they're all important things. Okay, so what else? I can see in the chat.
Something like escape from your daily life, escape, relaxation,
yeah.
relieving stress.
Yeah, I think that's related to the motivation. which means why you decided to go on traveling at the beginning, right? So that's, yeah, it's very important factors to influence your behaviors in the trip. Okay.
Also,
I can see in the, yeah.
different external issues, such as health issues that we are currently undergoing, such as COVID. I think those issues affect the behavior of all of us.
Exactly.
All the tourists,
I think, yeah, not only in tourism, but yes, in a very broad sense, it's influencing everyone, right? For example, we're gonna stay, how people are doing the staycation, and also even though they are using the hotel rooms, so what's the criteria now they're using to select them? They all, you know, is changed. Okay, I can see in the chat we have the price. Yes, the price may influence our behavior or even, you know, decision making, like the choices. Education, yeah, so our individuals' demographic factors. What else?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah, so that's related to now our marketing. What kind of information have been brought to you, and which information channel, that all, you know, matters about your behavior. Anything else you want to share? No? So
past experience and expectations.
Your previous experience and expectations, right? Yes. So your own experiences, and that will probably educate you and may brought some other thoughts for your next trip, or you can deliver your thoughts or word of mouth to your friend and family. So that will also influence their behaviors. Yes.
Yeah. And also destination image, maybe.
Yes. So, or how those image has been reflected to those potential tourists. So that means what kind of information we are receiving, and that will determine our decisions if we want to go there or not, right? For example, is that people there are very friendly or not, or there's food very delicious or not? I can base on those information to make my decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the destination local residents, their behavior may also influence the tourist behavior.
You mean destinations, those are residents' behavior?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that's a very, very huge impact factor. So for those tourists to make any decision, people don't want to go to the place which they feel they're not really welcomed. They cannot feel any human touch. So that is really important and could give a lot of implications. Yeah. So here I list some of them. We mentioned, I think, most of them, right? Internal influences. We have our motivations, our affect, or our image about even ourselves could influence our choices and how we are behaving in destination. Your personality, your perception, learning memories, as we just mentioned, your previous travel experiences could make a difference, okay? Your lifestyle, your values you pursue, and also culture or even the subculture could influence you, right? And also your social classes, social media, that's about what kind of information your peers, like your classmates, your families could give you, and that could influence your behavior as well. And then we have decision making. It's very complicated progress. You also have the attitude, or are you easy to be persuaded, persuasive to buy something or to choose some places. For example, there's a lot of live streaming bringing you to different destinations with the camera. So well, that influence you to go to the place as well. And that is about, how they're doing the marketing to the consumers. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things we could find in the consumer behavior realm. And that's really interesting. And yeah, in the chat, we also mentioned the lifestyle, yes. And I'm sure we have mentioned about different P's in the marketing, right? For example, promotion, progress, physical evidence, how you're dealing with people, places, prices, etc. But don't forget, you have the customer at the core, which means whatever strategy you are taking, you need to consider about the customer's needs first, right? If you are doing excellent job in promotion or in price setting, but that's not the customer's want, it means it's not effective, right? So keep in mind, the customer is always the core for all kinds of activities you are planning for the organizations. How many of you have watched this movie before? Inside Out? Yeah, many of you can see hands up. Good. Who can tell me what's this? Or I want to try the link. I'm not sure if the link will work well in the Zoom setting. So I will try. If it's like not really clear or it's very slow, please let me know so we can stop sharing this one.
So this is a Disney movie about a girl. So she lived in like California or LA, something like this. And then she moved to a new place and she struggled in life. And then her emotion in her life is divided into like angry, happy, sadness, and I forgot what was the other one. So happy always want this girl be happy, but everyone emotion need to have all of them. You can't always be happy or you can't always be sad. So this few little thing in her brain, so want to make her balance and have a better emotion. Is about it.
Very well said. Thank you. I think this gives us a very big picture about this movie, right? So how Disney using those cartoon or this very interesting story to tell you, not only for the kids, but also for adults like us, right? How to treat your life and how to respond to different emotions in your life. Yeah, so that is about big picture and I really like it. And now I want to share a small clip about how they think those different emotions could work together and decide a person's behavior. And I hope it could be shared, okay?
So, how was the first day of school?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong. We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
With a nice pass over the reed, comes across center ice.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
Signal him again.
So, Riley, how was school?
You gotta be kidding me.
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
School was great, all right?
What was that? I thought you said we were gonna act casual.
Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude, old man.
No, breathe.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
DEFCON 2.
I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops?
Yeah, well, look.
Prepare the foot.
Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire!
That's it. Go to your room.
The foot is down. The foot is down. Woo!
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that was a disaster.
Come, fly with me, Gachi.
Okay, so I hope it works well on your side. So it basically shows us how different emotions in your mind that is invisible to everyone, but that works together and decide your behavior outside, right? I remember those little cartoon characters. They're named anger, fear, joy, something else. So there's like basically 5 kind of like emotions. They are working together inside your mind. So they are responding to different external triggers, and that really determines like how you are going to respond to the outside. That is now behavior, isn't it? So it's the same for the no matter tourist behavior, consumer behavior, or your hotel guest behavior. There must be a reason behind, and we need to understand there are some reasons they're invisible, and sometimes they are even unconscious for the guests themselves, right? So understand those customers' behavior or tourist behavior is about understand how they're thinking and how we could prepare well according to their mechanism to give them a good experience. So this really just tell us this story. And my next question is about how do we understand our customers? If you are working in a hotel or if you are working in attraction or destinations, could you give me some examples? How's your organizations understand your customers? Any approaches or any strategies you are currently using?
Hello, I'm Kate, and I think how we can understand for our customer, for the hotel industry, they may have some interaction or some conversation during the reservation stage with the customer to ask their preference and also their needs for their stay.
Yeah, so like the personal inquiry or interactions, you can get some information, right?
Hi, Daisy. My name is Fatima. Back when I was working in a hotel chain, we used to grab data, like data analytics, to view some trends about how customers, not individual customers, but from the different segment groups, how they, like, for example, when they bought some of the hotel rooms, like lead times and that sort of thing. So that
I see. So those are data from your customers, right? Good. Yeah, I can see from the chat. There's a like questionnaire. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, hello Daisy. In our airline, we also run focus group or annual events to gather opinions from our loyalty customer, and also we have a really short pulse survey after each flight.
I see. So this is very useful, right? Based on their own experiences. Nice. Anyone else? Or anyone in the room?
My name is Annie, and there is an Opera system. You can check the record, the history, the customer's history preferences.
Yeah, so that's based on their information they provided in the system, so you can understand them more, right? Good.
Hello, Daisy. I'm Amy, and I have had internship in Buhalis in Macau, and in that company they set up their own customer profile system in addition to Opera. It records some important customers, their hobby or their important feelings, some like some key points. Yeah, they're happy or some because of casino, the VIP. Yeah, they are very important to our hotel, our resorts, and also they train us when I work there. They say you can try to observe customers before they ask you for help. You can
Yeah.
approach them proactively. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's good. Thank you from the system, right? Reservation system or those management system in the hotel. So you can easily get those information from individual customers. So I think that's also help us to prepare better even before the guests are coming in. And of course, there's some, blacklist customers as well, so which are very demanding or every time they complain. So you can also well prepared for different types of guests. Yeah, that's good. I remembered I used to, after my master program, I used to work in hotel consulting company. We did a mystery, like a mystery shopper for those Macau big brand resorts. We try to do the security guide, secret performance. So we like a secret shopper, right? We also want to ensure those quality reach those standard to make our guests feel happy and let them feel even beyond their expectation. Good. And from the chat, I can see, yes, a lot of organizations using questionnaire, social media, like ask them casually, right? Also ask them about their needs and the system we've just mentioned. Good. There's indeed a lot of different approaches that we could understand our customers about their behaviors and what they really need, so we can try to prepare better for our next time services, right? There's really a lot of approaches, but today I want to probably use the tourist typology to show you some of the examples, how we're trying to categorize people into different types and how we can prepare for their individual needs. So this is only one approach that we can use to understand our customers' behavior, and that's not the only thing. So just keep this in mind. As we know, tourists are all different. They have different needs, different behaviors, cultures behind. So we have to serve them in their required ways, right? So that came to the question, why we want to categorize them. And I think we mentioned some of them already. So we want to know their differences, what they need, since we cannot see them as like a homogeneous group, right? We provide the same products to different people. That's almost impossible nowadays. In this case, we want to develop several categories of tourists or consumers, which means we can develop some like tailor-made products or services, which means they need it best, right? While doing the typology or categories of tourists or consumers, we also need to keep in mind, we want some key markets. That means we want to spend our money to those most promising, segments, right? We don't have, unlimited money. We can try to satisfy every single customer. We want to focus on those biggest or most promising markets. We try to understand them more, develop several sub-markets, try to put them into different segments, and then we provide different services to those different groups. So that's the purposes, okay? And the next question is, what do you think can be the criteria for doing this segmentation? Or do you have any experiences? What kind of criteria you are using to categorize your customers? Age, yeah, that's one of the most common criteria we use. Different people with different age group have different needs, right? Anything else?
Yes, if they travel alone or if they travel in groups.
Yeah, their travel mode, like how they're traveling. Yes.
Gender could also be of criteria.
Yes, so we have a very different behavior between male and females, right? In traveling or in the other different things.
Yeah,
What else?
also the purpose of the travel, and then either high or low season as well, seasons.
Yes, so that could also be the standard. Anything else?
Yes, also the regions where also their culture as well.
Yes, so we have different products, for different regions. That's true. That's about the preferences. It's really surprising for me to see some UK brands. They're doing those how to say, the pot. It's not only for hot pot. It's like a multifunctional pot. These are very famous UK brand. It's a Murphy. I forgot. Murphy pot is from the UK, but I see those advertisements in China or in the Asian market. They have very well designed multifunctional pots. You can use for barbecue, you can use for hot pot, and for different type of breakfast. And it looks very modern, very cute. But when I search in the UK website, there's nothing there, which means those products really particularly designed for the Asian market, not even for this original market, which I feel very disappointed. But on the other hand, I feel they're doing a great job in segmenting their market and design some of the products just purposely for that market. So we use a lot in a lot of other industries, right? Anything else from you? I can see from the chat, interest and the job, yes, age. So that's also something we could use to form our segments.
I think we can analyze the target customers, which one is belonging to the company's main segmentation market, and by analyze their behaviors, and these behaviors can be the criteria.
Okay, you mean what's they want?
Yeah, wants, need, and desires of these customers can be the criteria.
Yes, so that's directly from the market and the market's voices, right? It's like kind of like a co-creation process, isn't it? So you collect those needs from your customers, and you build those things, which means the thing must be needed urgently from the market. So you both sides co-create something out, and that's a really good approach.
Yes, and I think they can depends on what they want to get from the travel, like they travel for their medical needs or leisure needs, or even like family trip to get an improved relationship.
Yes, their travel motivation is a very important criteria for us to understand the tourists, right? No matter for the product design, and also how to attract them from different channels, that's all relevant. Yes, great. A religion, yes, that's I think a part of the culture thing, and that also influence our markets as well. Yeah, so I also list something here, so for your information. Okay. And about what we have just mentioned, most of them belong to the demographics, right? When we talk about the demographics, that means like your age, gender, education, your income level, your job, etc. So we call them the demographics. And that's also the most commonly used criteria for doing our marketing and segmentation, right? True. So another thing, behavior. How do we, observe our customer or tourist behavior? We try to understand, okay, those group of people, they are behaving like this, and that part of people behaving like this. So based on their, their social norms or their normal practices, we can try to categorize them into different groups. Also nowadays, we're using more and more about those, logical variables, sociological variables, and then we call them like psychographics. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this word. So there's more and more marketing companies. They're trying to do the segmentation with the psychographics, which means about those psychological or about the sociological elements, which means even though we are considering the previous segmentation, we understand there's some limitations. For example, even though people from the same age group or from the same income level, they may still have different kind of pursuit or desires in their travel or product selection, which means their internal desire or their psychological thing, for example, motivation, right? Or lifestyle, we just mentioned. Those kind of things, they belong to the psychographics. And those variables are even more important than the simply, age, gender, education, etc. So that means our typology or segmentation is becoming more and more complex. So we need to really understand it in a different ways, right? For example, travel motivation, we just mentioned this again and again. Here are some different studies in different regions in the world about people's typology. The first one, Chinese backpackers typology by travel motivation, which means we try to understand people by their motivation, but particularly in backpackers, right? So for this group, they already have some focused or different motivations compared with those group tours or individual mass tourists, right? But within them, we can still look at their different motivations. For example, some people want to have those self-actualization. They want to maybe have a higher self-achievement, self-esteem. That's the reason they go on the backpackers. Okay. And some people, they want to experience destination as much as possible. That's another type. And the next one, we have to admit, some people, they get on the backpackers, they want to have some social events. They want to know people, no matter to know those people traveling together with them or make new friends in destinations. So social elements can be their, the biggest motivation in travel. And this is how we understand the backpackers. If we want to design some products for backpackers, those things could help you in the design and the promotion. Similarly, with the British tourist visiting Turkey, that's their motivations. And we try to use those kind of things to categorize them. Some of them looking for the recreation activities, some of them looking for adventures, and some of them just want to escape from the crowd or from their daily work, or some of them just want to relax. So facing different kind of customers, you need to understand what they need and try to promote different things independently, right? And this is the thing, a very classic tourist typology from blog. It's 1974. I'm not sure if you have learned this, but this is also about the simply a tourist typology, about their motivation. Starting from the very left hand, so ventures, which means those tourists that travel, they want to go to some places that nobody have been there. They don't want to go to those well-established places. They want to be the first to explore it. It's like a rural area, a village, or some places really far away from the, the mainland, etc. So they want to explore some new things. And when they are coming back, they pass the information to the next segments, which is the near ventures. So those people also want to have some excitement, but they want to know this is workable or feasible. So they listen to this first batch and then they followed until the mid part, which is the mid-centrics. And we can see from the number, they have the largest tourist group, if we can see from the curve, right? This is most like the well-established destinations, like for example, Hong Kong, Singapore, or other places around the world, is well equipped with a lot of hotels, transportation facilities, direct flights, etc. So if you go there, you can make sure you will be looked after carefully. You will have the security to travel around. You have whatever you need. That means this is still well established, and this attracts the most people there. And the rest are two types, which means those people are not looking for excitement or novelty in their trips. They just want to, for example, relax or to escape from their daily life, get them refreshed. They don't care if they go to the destination again and again and again. They want to have some security and the comfort when they're traveling. So that's how we're explaining about different tourist types based on their motivation. Okay, this is a very classic typology study. And if we're studying tourism, probably this is one of the must-read piece of work. Okay. And another typology I would like to talk about is based on the social contact. So this is mainly about the behavior, isn't it? So as a tourist, we are surrounded with the different social environments. No matter, if you want to contact with local or not, you're surrounded by them, okay? That means the social environment in destination. And if you look at these pictures here, that means, interactions happened in your trip. And I just realized this picture, I think Dimitri's put a much better one for you when I just entered your Zoom meeting. So ignore this bad resolution. It just shows you, if we understand Cohen's work in this way, it's also a kind of typology, isn't it? Based on their seek for this familiarity or for the novelty, they try to categorize tourists into different types, starting from the organized mass tourist to the drifter, right? They have their own pursuit in their trip between this familiarity and novelty. And I will not talk about this. So another study done by my PhD studies is to extend those social contact typology based on Cohen, but we add on more elements inside. For example, before the contact, what do we think? I think many of you mentioned the purposes of travel, right? Is a very important element. And then the determinants of contact. For example, can you speak like English if you go overseas, right? So that's some of the very important determinants. And then during your contact, what kind of activities you're doing with the local tourist or local residents? And is it intensive or not? And even after the contact, we still need to think about what kind of impact those social interactions have left on you, okay? Will that influence your perception, or will that influence your attitude towards destination or the people? So that's all considered for our typology to make it as a special segment. And this is the new typology we established, starting from the dependents to those belonging seekers, based on all those criteria we mentioned in the last slide. And interestingly, this study was conducted among the Hong Kong tourists. So we are trying to understand, will Hong Kong tourists travel to mainland China? Will that influence their perception towards the mainland Chinese people and the mainland Chinese as a destination image? So that's our purpose of this study. And we try to see the influence of those social interactions. Okay, and we realize from our result, some of the people, if you're looking at the very left-hand side, dependents, those people could hardly be changed after their trip, since they have very limited interaction with local people. For example, some of them, they don't speak Mandarin Or some of them, they just follow their children, their next generation to travel. It's all well organized. They don't need to interact at all. So for different reasons, they didn't change after the trip. Okay. And for the next one, conservatives, they interact a little bit when it's necessary. For example, in the restaurant. So they contact when they must contact. They don't really want to do this proactively. So those people still very limited interactions and a very limited change after their trip. For the criticizers in the middle, which means they have some kinds of interactions with the local people during traveling or interactions in the parks, etc. But they are doing this through their own cultural lens. So what do we mean here? I try to be, for example, I'm traveling with not an open mind. I think myself or my culture or my region is the best. I try to evaluate everything in the destination with my own standard, which means I'm not having an open attitude when I'm traveling. Okay, so I do some of the interactions with the local people, with other tourists, but I try to challenge them or criticize them according to or based on my standard. So that's what we call the criticizers. Okay, and then on the other hand, we have the explorers or eventually belonging seekers. Those people, they have an open mind. They travel to the place, try to adapt them like a fully with the local people, including the food, those lifestyle. They interact in the parks to see what they are doing, like the square dance or different things. They try to embrace themselves in the local environment and do a lot of interactions. So that is the other end of our typology. And if we are thinking about how we're promoting different kind of product to different type of people, that make a very big difference, right? And this is our findings from this study. Well, in the era of connectivity, we are behaving not only in a face-to-face approach, but like now we're doing the hybrid teaching, right? So in this case, we're traveling in a hybrid mode, which means we could connect easily with our home social environment, which means our family, friends, and our maybe even colleagues or classmates in our travel. So that makes our connection even more diversified, right? And if we're looking at those science destination, this is a very close by attraction to Bournemouth, Cornwall. Please try to remove your face from your smartphone to admire the scenery, while you won't get a decent phone signal anyway. So this sign, what does it mean to you as a tourist? What do you think it want to tell you in travel?
It implies that try to stick yourself away from the innovation like technologies just for the time when you're doing your when you're on your tour, and try to look out for the scenery, nature, what's really in front of you.
Yes. So this is try to give you this kind of signal, right? Good.
Well, yes, I think they give the imaginations for travelers because they set a high standard for their sceneries that your smartphone cannot be compared with your with this beautiful landscape.
Yeah. Yes, that's nice. So yeah, so you should make all the efforts to appreciate those sceneries, right? Not really want to communicate online. Thanks, Jerry, Dimitris, for walking around, passing the microphone.
You have got very good answers here, and you've done a fantastic job. Have you got more slides, or should I take over from here?
Yeah, I think I have some slides, but I can definitely stop here.
Okay. Have you got this, have you got the slide on the paper we did together with the?
Yes, I have
Can
the
you
paper,
can you
but I
show
don't
that to
need.
them, and then I'll take over.
Okay, good. But I have a video to play.
That's okay. You can take my class, but
I don't want to take your class.
Yay.
Okay. Anything
Just show them the model we created with the typology. Have you got on the slide?
Yes, I put in a slide, but I can keep it for you if we want to take it over.
No, just go through it. You're doing
Oh,
better job than me.
Okay. I will quickly go through it, and I will show you a short video, and that's the end. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Obviously, I'm over time. So, yeah. This is the offline mode, and this is actually the connected mode in travel. And I'm sure most of us are traveling in this way nowadays, right? At least I am. So we're traveling, but we're still connected with our home social environment. And this is actually the new behavior, isn't it? Now we are looking at not the physical behavior, but also the online behavior, right? This is about our tourists. And this is also the new social environment. If you're looking at the lower side, that's the traditional interactions. If you're looking at the upper side, that's about the new and those technology enhanced interactions, right? We need to deal with them at the same time. And this is probably the theoretical background. We are conducting this typology paper based on those criteria. Okay, some of them are behaviors on top, some of them about their, psychographics. And that's the typology we developed according to our interviews, 51 interviewees. And we have 6 types of tourists traveling in different behaviors. From the top, disconnected immersive traveler, that is about, purely offline, as what we see from this the first sign. They try to turn off their phone and purely interact with local people, appreciate those sceneries at the same time. And then we have the digital detox travelers, even though they are doing the same thing as the first type, but they are doing this on purpose. They want to have a detox from their, digital daily life. This is with a purpose. And then we have the middle types. We are moving to the social media addict. A lot of people belonging to this type nowadays. Whenever they're traveling, they do, sharing on Facebook, on Instagram, or send to their WeChat moments, etc., to keep them up to date. Also, some of them doing the live streaming, even, right? A lot of fun coming out from social media sharing. And eventually we have the dual zone travelers, which means they are very active in both offline and online social interactions. They have a very high energetic level. They can do both things at the same time without compromising. So that is the 6th type of tourists we are developing according to the behavior, both sides. Okay. I think that's the content-wide. I finished my part, and I want to really show you one of the small video. How many of you have watched this, Criminal Minds? This is one of my favorite TV series, to be frank. So I love it, not only because of the story, but how they are trying to get the cue of different cases. I try to play this. Hope you can see it.
So you've stated that it was your profile of the killer that led you and the police to my client's door that night.
Behavioral analysis was a factor in our investigation, yes.
And was behavioral analysis also a factor in the Olympic Park bombings case in Atlanta?
Yes, it was.
And was that suspect you identified, Richard Jewell, ever convicted of the bombings?
Objection. Relevance.
Goes to the credibility of the witness and his field.
I'll allow it. No, he was not convicted.
Because he was innocent. Your profile led you to the wrong man.
Jewel was not the perpetrator, but if you look at the real Olympic Park bomber, Eric Rudolph, you'll see that our profile was dead on.
Well, how about if we look at the Baton Rouge killer? Your unit said that he was white and living in the city. He was black and from the suburbs. You said that Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, was divorced and impotent. He turned out to be married with 2 kids.
Objection, Your Honor. He's giving a sermon.
You have a question in there somewhere, Counselor?
Having been wrong on those cases, isn't it possible that you were wrong about Brian Matloff?
No.
Fact is, behavioral analysis is really just intellectual guesswork. You probably couldn't tell me the color of my socks with any greater accuracy than a carnival psychic.
Objection.
Withdrawn.
Charcoal gray.
Well, look at that. He got one right.
You matched them to the color of your suit to appear taller. You also wear lifts and you've had the soles of your shoes replaced. One might think you're frugal, but in fact you're having financial difficulties. You wear a fake Rolex because you've pawned the real one to pay your debts. My guess is to a bookie.
I took this case pro bono. I am one of the most successful criminal attorneys in the state.
Your vice is horses. Your BlackBerry's been buzzing on the table every 20 minutes, which happens to be the average time between posts from Colonial Downs. You're getting race results. And every time you do, it affects your mood in court, and you're not having a very good day. That's because you pick horses the same way you practice law, by always taking the long shot.
You've been a very good yarn agent, but as usual, you've proven nothing.
If I'm not mistaken, the results from the 5th race should be coming through any minute. Why don't you tell us if your luck has changed?
Your Honor, this is...
What do you want me to do? Either show us your BlackBerry or cut him loose, Counselor.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. So while I'm putting this very short video here, you see this as a behavioral analysis unit. So they are analyzing people's behavior, right? And actually, I think we're doing the same thing. We're analyzing our consumers' behavior as well, okay? So for the same flow, actually, we're observing their behavior. We're trying to understand what they're thinking. So what's the reasons for this behavior? And why we would like to know that, we want to predict what they're going to do next. And we're going to predict how we can provide better services or product to them next time. So that's the purposes. And that's also the reason we're trying to do this consumers' behaviors analysis or studies, and that could benefit our industry in this way. That's all from me, Demetrius. Sorry for the long time.
Daisy, thank you. Fantastic. I really like that final video, because it really shows what typology is about, and it's really about what we're trying to do to kind of understand our customer. And if we understand, why do we do typologies? Why do we do them? Because typologies are driving segmentation. And if we understand what kind of types of customers are driving, what kind of value they need to have, then we are in a much better position to satisfy their needs and their requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Daisy. Miss you, Daisy. And hopefully we'll see you soon again. Thank you very much for doing that. Have a good afternoon, I guess afternoon in England.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
Good. Thank you. It's my great pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Daisy. We'll send you a nice certificate of appreciation and things like that.
That's nice. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
take good care. You can stay if you like, or you can go with your other duties. Okay, so look, you had a fantastic lecture from Daisy, and Daisy is primarily looking to how consumers interact. And if we understand how consumers interact, then we can serve them better, because we understand what they need. Especially the paper that he showed you with the typologies and with the online and offline behavior, the 6 types. they operate in a very different way. And sometimes, when we understand what kind of customer it is, we provide the right kind of support, and we engage with the customers in a way that they would like to be engaged. And that is